My goal here is to really kind of provide you as much information as I can about our company, the types of positions that we're recruiting for right now, and some of the soft and hard skills that we're looking for. So first off, Express Employment. We're located in Corning, but we cover positions around Steuben, Chemung, Schuyler counties. We also work up a little bit into Yates County and into Pennsylvania a bit, so we cover a wide area. If you're open to commuting, there's also an Ithaca office as well, but our office covers this general area. We've been open since June of 2010. Since then, we've worked our best to try to get towards the corporate goal of getting 1 million people to work. The last couple of years, we have definitely surpassed that. So on top of having jobs, we're here as kind of a resource. What I like to tell people who come to us is that really we're an extra set of eyes and ears for you guys. We don't charge anything for our service. We're a free service to you. And we're here kind of just as a resource. If you have questions, sometimes we can give tips, pointers on interviews that we've sent you on. Just a good all-around tool. So first off, the yellow sheet in front of you is all of our available openings. This is as of yesterday. I tried to separate them by administrative, industrial, and what I considered the other. Oh, here, I have one for you. So I myself, I handle what we call the specialized division in our office. That means I work up with accountants, IT professionals, all the way into the medical field. The staffing consultant that handles the administrative division, she actually also handles skilled trades. So truck driving, CDL A, B, even welders. We see machinists. And then the industrial division, probably what a lot of people associate staffing companies with, factory, warehouse, manufacturing. So we cover a whole slew of skills, really. It's not very often we have somebody come to us that we have never seen that type of position like that come through. So if you look there, we have the current position, where it's located. We also have how many openings. You'll see that some of them actually have multiple openings. And then the pay rate. If you go on our website, which I'll give you the information for that at the end, you can see a full list of the job details and what the skills are for those. Right, so the type of positions we typically recruit for the summertime, we see a lot of what I'm sure you guys would imagine, a lot of labor positions, a lot of the landscaping, but we also actually see a lot of administrative peaks too, because they need someone in the office to help out with all of the huge staffing needs that they have. So right now, we actually have seen quite a bit of a pickup there. A lot of the skills that our clients are actually looking for right now, honestly, the big one is just to show up. That's a big piece of it. You know, just going to work every day on time, it speaks louder than any skills that you could really bring. Skills are usually trainable, teachable, but just that go to work every day mentality, not always the most trainable and teachable. So really your attitude and what you bring to that job is what you're going to get out of it. Just personal experience, I actually started my position 5 years ago with Express Employment. I registered with our company, had no clue what Express Employment was. I went in there like, oh gosh, I have no idea what I'm getting myself into, but I heard they have jobs. Went in there, did my interview. It took about 45 minutes or so. After I did some paperwork, they sent me on a couple of interviews. I got shot down 3 times. The feedback I got was that I was a great interview, but I just didn't have the skills that they were looking for. I didn't know it, but on the back end, the recruiter that I was working with, Kay, was actually advocating on my behalf, telling them, you know, if she was a good interview, give her a shot. Sometimes a resume, an interview doesn't give you everything that you need. Probably about a month in or so, I got a call from the owner of the Express office, and he said that he was looking for someone in the what we call the FOC role, which is essentially the receptionist up in front. I did a series of interviews there, and eventually I got the job. Like any other what we call associates, I started off on the temporary basis. I wasn't quite sure what that meant. I'm sure a lot of people think of staffing companies, they think of temporary. So just like everybody else, I went into it thinking, oh great, this is going to be a job for a little while, and then I'm going to be back out looking for another job. After maybe a week it took me, I realized that, wow, these people actually get real jobs. It's something we hear a lot. So I became permanent after the evaluation period, which in most cases is usually similar to what you get on a normal job, the probationary period of 90 full working days. There are some variations with that depending on company and their needs. They, of course, have the ability to move you over sooner. If you go in there, you knock it out of the ballpark, nothing says that they can't take you on sooner. It's really, like I said, what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. So on my end of things, I've seen it from both sides. I know it's an unusual concept if you've never worked with a staffing company before, but looking back, I wish I had utilized their services a little bit sooner. I can apply for so many jobs on my own, but really a staffing company works with so many direct lines of human resources in multiple companies, even across multiple industries. So towards the end, I'll take any questions that you guys might have. If you have never worked with a staffing company before, I'm more than happy to answer anything that you have. I know, like I said, it can be a little bit different if you've never worked with one. So for hard skills, right now what we're seeing a lot is for what we call the skilled trades. So welders, anybody with a mechanical aptitude. So if you've worked on your own car, that's great. We can use that. We've been seeing a lot of the welders, any kind of welding, MIG, TIG, stick, if you've done it in your dad's garage, that's great too. We'll take that. Administrative side of things, just some computer skills. Honestly, Microsoft Office would be one I see across the board is needed. Even for an accounting role, because there's so many different softwares and programs. If they're looking for someone with an accounting background and I ask what kind of computer program or software you're looking for, hands down, every time I hear Microsoft Office. Even if you're familiar, you can tinker with it and find your way around, it's helpful. So I would definitely look up some training there. A growing field that we're seeing a lot of right now is a CDL driver. You can get a CDL-B and still be able to find really good work in the area. We have a lot of companies that are looking for that. Unfortunately, we're seeing that a lot of the skilled trades are kind of not as common anymore. So if you can get into any skilled trade, really, it would be a huge difference. For professional division, it's kind of different. I see peaks. So accounting will have its peak, IT will have its peak, administrative, like executive assistant, will have its peak. It really just kind of depends on the time of year. Okay, so for the positions that we have open now, we have a series of ways that you can actually apply. So we know that getting to Corning is not always the way that's easiest for everybody. So we actually have an online application that is mobile friendly. I have some of that information I'll be able to pass out to you guys at the end. Pretty easy though, expresspros.com/CorningNY. We try to keep it short, sweet, to the point for you. And like I said, once you go on there, you can also see all of the details of the positions. You have the option to apply specifically just for one, or you can apply just a general application because, like I said, we cover a whole slew of positions. If we don't have something that catches your interest right there on the website, 2 weeks it could be an entirely different website. We'll have something entirely different. So always applying is just a good way to look at it, and you never know, something could change quickly and you could be called for an interview right away. We actually offer walk-in Wednesdays if you happen to have free time. Wednesdays between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. we do just interviews back to back. So if you come in, you have the proper identification for the federal I-9 form. You can fill out the application, meet with a staffing consultant right there, get all of your paperwork done, and you are registered. It probably takes maybe, depending on the application process, maybe about an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half if it's a lot of work history to go over. But still, it's a good way if you just don't really know if you're going to have time to schedule an appointment throughout the week. We really try to accommodate that. If you do have time and you know you have a really good set schedule, you can actually call. We can schedule an appointment between Monday through Friday. We typically do appointments between 9 a.m. and usually the last one's around 3 or 3:30. So what you can expect in an interview, you're going to come in, do the application obviously. We do have a general skills evaluation that we have everybody fill out. Pretty basic. It's going to have math, some basic filing, rulers, maybe some spelling, and some comparison. One thing we let everybody know is don't worry about it quite so much. What we really do with that is just to see, the attention to detail. That's the biggest thing for us. The score overall is not a huge issue. It's not anything that's pass, fail. It doesn't affect your employment. Really, it just helps us market you more than anything. For example, if we have a position that requires someone to be able to read a ruler, we can pull up that evaluation and use that specifically to market you. We will provide a copy of that section of it to the employer. After the evaluation, you're going to kind of go through a short orientation. We do have an orientation video that gives you some background information on the types of jobs that you can see, how you can basically be in charge of your own schedule, and that you don't get penalized for turning something down. It kind of gives you a general guideline of the whole company and the process. From there, you're going to meet with what we call the staffing consultant, which is the recruiter who's working on your behalf. They're going to sit down with you, and the goal of that interview is really to center around you. Find your needs. What do you need in the next position you go to? In some cases, it can take a little bit to find a job. I do have to be upfront about that. There are some times where it can take a little bit, but the reason for that is because we don't want to just toss you in. We don't want to say, hey, this is a job for right now, just take it. We want to make sure we're good in finding you that long-term position. What's going to be the best for you long-term? If you're looking for something short-term, just something to get you by for the summer, that's great. We can get you to work right away. But really our goal is to find you something that you're going to be happy in long-term. So that's what that goal of that interview is really trying to establish the guidelines that you need. We'll talk about minimum pay rate that you're looking at. What kind of commute are you open to? Is there a certain schedule you need to work? Can you work Saturdays, Sundays, evenings, things like that? After that interview, we do, of course, have the New York State papers, the tax forms, and all of that. But right after that, we'll check your references. And after we complete those, you're set to go. You're ready to be put on jobs. So that's kind of the general overview there. What we do suggest from there is that you just kind of keep in touch with us. Every so often, give us a call, shoot us an email, really whatever works best for you. We just need to hear from you. A couple of reasons for that. Number one, we need to know you're still looking. If we don't hear from you, we have no way of knowing if you accepted something else, if something's changed in your availability. With us, communication is huge. It's the biggest thing that we stress to everyone who comes through our door. If you are interested in a position, communicate it. If we offer you a position and it doesn't sound like something you're interested in, communicate it. If you start a job and you're thinking it's not going to look like the best fit long term, communicate it to us and that client. One thing that goes along with that is always keep in mind who you're representing. You're representing us and also yourself. These aren't just jobs that are toss, start a new one. These are actual companies who are looking for someone who could potentially join their team. So if a position doesn't look like you're going to be interested in it long term, you don't ever want to just leave that job, no notice, walk off, anything like that. Like you said, you're representing yourself and that company. So that affects not just our relationship with that company, because we've entered an agreement with them that you're going to accept that position and work with them long term. It also affects your relationship. So in some cases, if you just leave a job, you won't be eligible to go back if something else came up down the road. A big thing is just don't burn your bridges. Always keep in mind who you're working with and how you're representing yourself to that company. So after that, what happens is we look at all of our immediate positions that are available. If you have a match to something that's open right then, we'll call you and discuss it with you. From there, you have the option to accept or decline it, either for an interview or an immediate start job. Some clients do like to do their own interviews as well, so that's something that we would discuss with you, give you some tips and pointers based on that company, let you know, this company is more interested in the professionalism. So I would advise business professional attire, a blazer or nice blouse or something like that. Or we could say, this client does a working interview. Do not wear anything nice that you want to get ruined. Wear your nasty jeans, wear your boots, whatever. We always let you know as much as we can about that company when you're meeting with them. Again, our goal is for you to thrive. So after we offer you the position, if you'd like to start, we work that out with you. You're always going to know the pay rate and the schedule when you accept a job. You're never starting and having any blanks. There's not any moment that you're not sure what you're doing. And if you ever do have a question, again, communicate. Reach out to us, let us know. We'll answer any questions that we have for you, and if we don't know it, we'll find it for you. We're really as a partnership to you guys. We have another service that we actually offer is if we don't have that immediate opening, we actually market your skills to local companies. So when you go on our website and you see all of these available positions, these are ones that you could be considered immediately for. What you don't see is the hundreds of others that we filled before for other companies that we know their skills that they're looking for, we know the personalities that they're looking for, and we can market you to those companies because we've established that relationship with them. Also, if you see a job post online, we'll reach out to them on your behalf if you haven't applied directly to them, because we might know the hiring manager there as well and establish a relationship with them too. So really, like I said, we're here as an extra tool for you, an extra set of eyes and ears. We want to get you that job that you want. We don't want to get you that job that you're just dealing with right now. So I guess I'll open it up for any questions. Do you guys have any questions on the process or types of jobs or certain skills, anything? No?
Are you accepting resumes today, or do you prefer that we look to online or come in on a Wednesday as you described?
No, I actually brought the things with me to conduct. If you have the time, I can conduct a quick interview, or I can just take your resume and we can schedule something down the road. It's whatever your availability is.
Okay.
Yeah.